everybody, happy Wine Wednesday. Kevin and Robin here, another fantastic week, fantastic wines, all Spain and Portuguese wines this week.
Yeah, I'm always happy to see these guys back in the shop. It has been a while. These have been, especially the Godello. I feel like maybe I've underestimated the popularity of this wine because it seems like it's around less and less all the time. So nice to see it back in the shop. And I notice it's a little chilly, so let me start there.
For good reason.
All right.
Yeah, this is a personal favorite of mine. The Sonrisa, so meaning the smile, the sunshine of Taras. So we're up in the northwest corner of Spain. So this is actually a pretty big wine region. And the soils itself, it looks like really unfertile land. Spain is known to be really hot, really dry. But grapes actually love to struggle a little bit. So you find in the wines here that you actually get some really great production. And it's pretty cool when you look at the vineyards that Dostaras is using. The vines don't grow up on trellises like you see in other places. They're actually like vines that grow down on the ground.
Yeah, it's neat because when I started in the wine business, here we go, aging myself again, there were no wines from Bierzo. They didn't exist. They were only grown in Bierzo. They were locally consumed. It was mostly small producers who didn't really make enough to ship anything outside of the country. But Dominio de Taras was really like a pioneer in getting these wines into the international market. So they were one of the ones who built one of the first wineries. They got growers together, and they started getting sort of enough fruit together that they could actually do some exporting. And when I first tasted these wines, I was just blown away because here you are getting these new grape varieties, you know, Prieto Picudo and Mencia, and you're wondering like, where have they been all my life? And the wines are so good and they're so delicious, and they don't really taste like anything else, right? Like they're very unique to that area. And grapes like Godello, like, you know, I'd never had it before, and it just like became an instant favorite. If you like Albarino,
totally,
you're gonna love that.
Yeah, lots of people make comparisons to Godello with Chardonnay, but not because of the flavor profile, but because of its versatility. There's a lot of different styles where it's going to be really lean and unoaked. It kind of takes on the winemaking version of itself is really what happens. This is awesome because it's got that like lemon curd, that little bit of creaminess because they do some lees aging. Fantastic little wine, and all 100%.
I love the label too, right? I know. It's so
makes you happy.
It's so fancy. It's
looks
so
like spring,
artistic.
not like outside today.
No, not like outside. I'm not looking outside today. So it's the thing that really gets me going about this wine is the character. It doesn't taste like anything else. You know, it's really unique. It's a super high quality grape variety. You'll see these, you know, Godello grapes and, you know, examples of this in like the $50, $60, $80 range. It's not cheap and cheerful, but this is an amazing deal. It's a $24 bottle of wine, and it drinks way beyond that price point. Yeah, that's as good as it gets. I mean, when you look at Albarinos in the $50 range that really, you know, behave a lot like this one, I think it's an amazing buy. So I'm not surprised that it flies out of here. And then other indigenous varietals that they're using, you mentioned Prieto Picudo. Yeah.
So this is a really interesting one. The grapes themselves are really, really dark purple, and really smaller clusters, smaller grapes. And the dark color, it's really important in this wine region because you are thinking of that sunshine, that heat. It keeps them from getting sunburned.
Right. And again, it's a grape variety. The difference between the two, I mean, what would you say the big difference between Mencia and Prieto Picudo is for you?
I mean, for me, like neither of them are overly heavy. They're kind of a little bit more medium to full body.
Yeah.
Prieto Picudo, I find, just feels a little bit more wild, a little more rustic. It's got a little bit more acidity. And then the Mencia, I find it just kind of like rounds out.
There you catch that? Mencia.
Mencia. One semester of Spanish.
There you go. It's showing up though.
Took.
Yeah, I think Prieto Picudo, besides being pretty fun to say, it's a little chunkier for me. It's a little more rustic, but I like that. And both these wines are insanely good buys. We've been bringing these in for 20 years now, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the price has gone up like $2 or $3 in 20 years. Like they're really amazing.
They're still
buys.
right at $20 and $21. So I mean, you can't go wrong. This particular one, I mean, Prieto Picudo can stand to get a little bit of time with oak and barrel. It just sort of helps soften that up a bit. And they do about 4 to 6 months on this one here. Right. And I feel like you can pick that up. It just rounds it out. It adds that little baking spice behind all that black currant.
I mean, if you just want to go home and say Prieto Picudo to your friends, I think it's worth buying it for that alone. But the juice inside is so much fun to drink, and it really is fun to go into areas that maybe you haven't seen before, haven't tried wines from before, and try a new grape variety. This one, the region that we're in, Mencia, is just north of Portugal and slightly inland, so it's not as hot as some of the areas that are further in. But the interesting thing about it is, it was really an unknown area, right? So
Yeah.
you always want to drink the B-sides, I say, right? Like the stuff that nobody else knows about, things that are like less known. You're just going to get better value, and this is like as good an example of that as you're going to see. Because for $21, I just don't think there's anything else in the shop that's this like interesting and full of character.
Totally. They use this grape varietal to make a lot of different really interesting rosés in the region too, that kind of have a little bit more spice and interest going on. And then the Mencia, this particular one is coming from 40-year-old vines, but they do have an old vine version as well. And when you get into those ones, they can stand for some age and put some time in the cellar. So for $32, grabbing the Sip Viejas, you can pop it downstairs while you're drinking this guy.
Yeah, that's such a killer wine, and we don't have it here, but we probably will have it open if you ask, because it's an amazing deal. I think I buy that wine and put it away all the time. I try to age them, but I always end up just drinking them because I'm not very good at that. But man, it's such a good deal. And then you got a few other ones. This is starting to look like a pack. Am I onto something here?
Yeah, I think so. Done this before.
All right.
So obviously these guys are going to be open on the tasting bar. Dostars is the feature, but together, because the region itself has the Douro River, which runs into Portugal, the Douro, so we decided to link the two.
Been looking at maps or something? Wow.
Spare time.
All right, impressed.
And so we threw in another little blend. So it's interesting in this particular pack that Spain is all 100% single varietals, and then Portugal loves to do their little blends.
Yeah.
So we've got a few different options. The Bispado, so like really fresh and bright. Don't ask me to say the names on these guys.
Oh, they're not easy.
It's too much.
Yeah,
Haven't
not
had
even
enough
with
wine.
your Spanish. I mean, it's Portuguese now, not Spanish. But yeah, Rabigado, Villacinho, Moscatel, Gallego Bronco. That's probably all wrong.
Good job.
Yeah, it's as good as it gets for me.
Castello d'Alba, if you've shopped with us, you've seen this guy before. Favorite
Absolutely.
barbecue wine, Tuesday night wine. It's under $20. It's so delicious.
Can't beat it.
And then the Eminente, which is a little bit newer for us this year. So this is Touriga Nacional and a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon. So bringing in that international variety, the only one in these packs actually that you're adding in, but it just adds a little more weight, a little more oomph. So this will be kind of like the fullest bodied of the bunch if you're doing something big on barbecue.
It's a killer pack, and I'm feeling like it's going to be a good deal. What's it going for?
$115
$115
for all 6.
Woo!
I know, practically giving it away.
It's less than $20 a bottle.
I know.
Fast math. See that? Not just a retail guy. All right. Anything else going on this weekend? Rosé Festival looks like it's all sold out.
It's all sold out,
So-
but that's okay. We'll have some good rosé deals in store the week leading up to it, so still
Cool.
check that out. May should have some sunshine, hopefully. And other than that, come on
Fingers
and
crossed.
see us, taste some wines, and we'll be
Yeah.
here.
Get down and taste these. They are definitely worth it.